Hi, I'm Mike McGee, CEO of the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors. I'm here today with Commissioner Jessica Altman of the Pennsylvania Insurance Department. We're here to talk about flood insurance in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So, Commissioner, a lot of homeowners misunderstand flood insurance and who needs it. Does homeowners insurance cover flooding or not?
It doesn't, and that's a really common misconception that many homeowners have. Your traditional homeowners insurance policy does not cover damage related to flood. If you want to protect your home and property from flooding, you need to purchase either a separate flood insurance policy or an endorsement to your homeowner's policy that specifically covers flooding damage.
So does the need for flood insurance affect many Pennsylvania homeowners?
It does affect many Pennsylvania homeowners. We don't have perfect data on this, but we do know that the National Flood Insurance Program, run by the federal government, which is where most Pennsylvanians who have flood insurance get it, have paid over 17,000 claims due to flood damage between 2007 and 2017. And that's been about $555 million in damage for Pennsylvania homes. But there are a number of homes that either have private flood insurance or no flood insurance at all. So the numbers are actually even higher than that.
Okay, so what is required if a home is located in a high-risk zone?
Yeah, so if your home is in what's called a special flood hazard area, which is what the Federal Emergency Management Agency, commonly known as FEMA, calls those high-risk areas, you will generally be required to have flood coverage as a condition of your mortgage. If you don't live in one of those zones, or if you have paid off your mortgage, you won't be required to, but as we'll talk more about later, that doesn't mean you shouldn't have it.
Okay, so the National Association of Realtors, the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors continues to make reform to the NFIP, National Flood Insurance Program, a high priority. But costs are rising to get coverage through the NFIP. Are there other options for flood insurance other than NFIP?
So first of all, I'm so glad to hear that the realtors are making the NFIP a priority. I, as well as the National Association of Insurance Commissioners, have also made that a priority and making sure we have long-term reauthorization. But one of the things that Congress has done in recent years is make changes to the NFIP that reduce the subsidies available to homeowners. They did that because following some of the large storms, particularly Sandy and Katrina, that program went significantly in debt. And so able to make it more sustainable, they have phased out those subsidies over time. But those subsidies also made it nearly impossible for the private market to compete with the NFIP. And as those subsidies are phasing out, private insurers are now coming into this market and offering comparable options to the NFIP that homeowners can consider. And in fact, in many cases, we've seen homeowners find significant savings by looking at private flood insurance compared to what's available through the NFIP from a pricing standpoint. Now, we've gone through making a one-stop shop website on our page, insurance.pa.gov, where homeowners, realtors can find information about the NFIP and find information about private flood insurance and where they can go to get information and to buy that coverage.
So even if you're not maybe in a high-risk area, should you consider adding flood insurance to your portfolio anyway?
Yeah, we recommend that every homeowner at least consider purchasing flood insurance. As we talked about, many homeowners live outside of special flood areas and still experience flooding. Now, FEMA likes to call the special flood hazard areas the 100-year floodplain. And I don't love that term because it lets people feel like they're only going to have a flood maybe once in 100 years, and hopefully that won't be the years that I live here. But what that really means is that every year your home has a 1% chance of flooding. And to put that in different terms, that means that over the course of a 30-year mortgage, you have a 1 in 3 chance of having your home experiencing flooding. But even if you live outside of that special flood hazard area or that 100-year floodplain, you still have on average a 1 in 7 chance of experiencing flooding. And that's why everyone should consider flood insurance no matter where they live.
And so if a home only floods a little bit and somebody doesn't have homeowners insurance, is that really a big deal for them?
It is. So FEMA estimates that every inch of flooding results in $27,000 worth of damage on average.
Many homeowners believe that FEMA is going to be there to rescue them and provide them a bailout if there's a disaster assistance in their particular area. Does that mean that homeowners don't need to get flood insurance because they have this kind of backstop?
Yeah, I cannot recommend that any homeowner solely rely on the potential of federal disaster funding to protect themselves from flood. First of all, FEMA only makes funds available in the event of really significant flooding that impacts entire communities, a multitude of homes, and many floods that happen, particularly due to rain, are more isolated and limited to a certain number of homes. But even if they do make that flood assistance available, that disaster assistance available, you can only get as much as about $33,000 from FEMA. Following Hurricane Harvey, in fact, the average payout for disaster funding was only $7,000 per homeowner. If you're thinking about that $27,000 per inch of flooding, if you're thinking about rebuilding your home or significantly repairing your home and replacing your property, that is not what you are going to need to truly get back on your feet. And that's why homeowners really need to consider more comprehensive coverage.
Thank you for coming out. We appreciate you taking time from your busy schedule to give us an overview of flood insurance in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Thank you so much for having me.